And don't forget, of course, we've still got that massive match. Derek Wong versus Chong Wei Feng is the final men's singles. 2 more matches to come up after this. Complete this tie. Plenty of points to play for. Well, that was a last-ditch recovery.
Yes, really. A well-deserved point from Klang. Lee, in particular, flashing the racket in defense, saved them in the rally, and then Nelson able to follow up and get the point.
Now some good pressure from Klang. Just forced the issue. And that's kept them in the lead. It's an important point for them to win. I wonder, Donald, if we're going to see another 5 game here. So far evenly matched. Is the first game, of course, so both pairs will be just fine-tuning themselves. Well, that's a receiving fault there.
Yes, too eager.
Now the Kopiko Purple League, under the stewardship of Dr. Jack Ko, and of course everybody else has been involved with it, have radically changed the impact of this tournament by adding a league format, but the traditional badminton rules of service, receiving, and of course foot faults and everything else do still apply. So it is an interesting melting pot of rules and innovations that these players have to deal with after a system that's been set up for decades, really. Some have warmed to it immediately, some have taken a little time, some have even complained about it, but it has led for the neutral and the viewers here and on Astro Supersport to some really amazing badminton, some great situations as well. So right now the Klang United pair of Nelson Hegwei-Ket and Lee Meng-Yen just doing enough.
Yes, hit the racket, could just hear it.
A double touch.
But Nelson Lee are pressuring well. There's a big difference between the last doubles game, where it's very difficult to see the Klang players in the match at all, but this is a much stronger pairing.
And it's more balanced, definitely more balanced. But it was always going to be difficult against a pairing with Han Bun-hyung and Hao Han to find those spots. They almost created a one-sided game themselves as soon as they stepped on court.
But plenty of positives for the Klang players to take out of that match.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Oh, some 2 disguised drops, and then the proper smash.
And the reverse, the Kepong players win it.
Both pairs standing mid-court trying to win control at this point. Just moving towards Klang again. We're asking the questions. Standard defensive pattern coming from Kepong. And it pays off. Soaked up the pressure, waited for the unforced error. They're currently tied perfectly at 5 apiece on unforced errors.
You can see both teams are knackered by that rally, absolutely exhausted. I think that was over a minute of play that we had, and
they were just fighting and fighting and fighting until something had to give.
Simonong allowing the benefit of a quick towel down.
And I've said the relative importance of this match within the tie has changed greatly because of the results beforehand. And that is in no way saying that these are weaker pairs in any way. Everyone's trying to play their strongest pairings. There is a lot of responsibility when the tie is at 7-6 to Kepong right now. So Win and Lim take the lead. And as I said, it's going to be of paramount importance to these Kepong players to not concede a game.
Nelson finally succumbed to the pressure of the Kepong players, but for most of that rally they were being moved around the court. Kepong just very effectively finding the gaps, putting the shuttle in. And Win and Lim are 2 points away from taking this first game after being behind at 1 point. Oh, no answer to that. Win can really sting his shots when he wants to, and targeting the weaker player. No chance to get a racket on it.
So they have game point. As I said, nobody in Kepong Family Club wants to lose a game, so however they manage to get through it, I'm going to look to finish this one off. That was just really bad positioning by both players.
I mean, they just drifted over to that backhand side of the court.
It's almost they became Siamese for a question.
Yes.
It was almost, they were occupying the same spot. And that is not the way to do it.
But
so
not easy to find the space even if you see it. So Lee did well to get that one back across into the gap. Player not ready. We'll reserve. And again, a little bit of gamesmanship, I think, going on there.
A tiny bit.
Nelson going over. Is he going to say something to? No, he's just being asked to wait.
I think he was just making his views felt. I think we're going to get back to action now at a critical point as well, 10-9. Went for the big smash. And then that's the end of the attacking phase, and then back in defense. Doing well so far. It's out. They've done it. Well done.
So after all that drama on the serve.
Yep.
It's definitely, of the two male players, Win has been more penetrating on his attacks, and that's really shown there. Yep. He's found the weaker player more often, and he's really punched his attacking shots at Lee, and on that occasion brings them the first game.
And hopefully, from Samuel Nason's point of view, the manager of Kepong, that's going to be the first of 3 straight games, which would really put this tie back on track for him. You know, he was really looking forward to the second phase anyway, and he's had to face a more difficult tie than he would have expected with those 2 early losses. So,
and for sure he breathed a sigh of relief when Gun Hyung got the 3 points. from their match.
Because I think possibly he was thinking to himself, is this going to also turn around and go the other way?
Nissan is calculating for this match, but he's also thinking ahead for the whole league system, because he knows in every single game now counts. It's neck and neck at the top of the league, and Kepong are fourth before this.
Yep.
And they've got some ground to catch up.
And they have to do it immediately. You could, of course, say that the likes of Nusajaya there were some heavy victories in the first phase. We saw perfect 18s from Wat and Puchonga put them right on top. But at the same time, by putting them at the top of the table, it meant that the Hawks and Nusajaya, who were the victims of those, have a mountain to climb immediately. So we'll see them in action, of course. Nusajaya came out this morning 10-12. A much better performance from them. That's exactly what they need to do, is put 10 games onto their tally. Cheras, well, it was a little bit easier for them. But as we found out from the first phase, you should be looking to take 9, maybe 10 games, win or lose, from every match day if you're going to be in contention. The top 8 teams of the 12 competing have a special challenge, the Champions Challenge, after the regular season. I suppose we can actually call that postseason. That'll be on February the 5th. And don't miss that. Find out all the details on www.purpleleague.com.
The Kepong positioning let them down, and that little exchange normally so good, but an easy gap in the corner there.
Well, they've caught our position there.
The gap again.
Massive gap again. And, hey, at least they saw it this time. And then they
we saw it, which is unusual for the commentary team to see the gap on that side of the court. It means it must have been there.
There were people in Thailand that saw that. It was so big. That gap was massive. Look at that.
Yeah.
He had to literally run at full stretch, and you can see it. You can see him laughing about it on the floor. That's the second time that's happened, and really, I think that's the biggest space I've ever seen left on a doubles court. And you could say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, in other badminton tournaments that are structured so that the players are all matched, you wouldn't see that happening. So it's good to see these things. You realize how good people are, and you realize the areas of the game that you have to work on.
Oh, is that in? That's gone out.
That was
pity.
That was very, very close.
Lovely
Indeed.
shot, but just a centimetre out, I think. Again, finding that gap on the left side. Not sure why that's a weak point for Kepong at the moment, but Lim normally positioning herself very well at the front of the net, catching on to anything that's stray.
Yep.
Yes. So he fell into the trap. Tried the cross court, but Lee was right there. Well, for some reason in this second game, the positioning from Kepong has let them down on a couple of occasions. Yeah. I'm not sure why. Maybe some miscommunication, or
I think it could just be eagerness again. They've realized the importance that they are playing in this specific time. And it's all about playing for the team. So perhaps a little bit more nervy. Unforced errors are creeping up. They're just 2 ahead now.
Again finding that corner. This is impressive now from Clang team. 6-2 up.
They certainly have the more solid formation. And another error. So 10-7, the unforced error count now.
holds his head in his hands. He's made a couple of
Yep.
errors, I think, the last
Yep.
2 or 3 points. Very easy to lose concentration when you're 1 up. Things are going well.
Well, exactly. So this could be game back. So Kepong currently are 8-6 up, +2 on their games difference.
It's very hard, even
+1.
very hard to see them coming back in this game.
Yeah.
There's been some very steady serves from Nelson.
To be said, can't really see them pulling it back. It would be, as I said, another one of these unique Purple League stories. Now both caught on the right side again. And it really is positioning that's letting them down, that's all.
So Nelson electing to attack MC Woon. And perhaps caught off guard slightly because he wasn't able to get anything on that.
So now we have game point for Klang United.
Awkward shot.
And this really is a last-ditch saloon. To finish that one off. So 1 apiece here. Definitely going to 4 games. And just as you said, a lot more solidity from the Clang players.
And yes, and Nelson on his serve was very, very effective, very steady. I think he had 6 consecutive points.
That's what really helped. Yeah, that's what spread the lead.
And that let them race away and take the second game. I'm sure that Lim and Woon will want to forget that second game, but Samuel will not let that happen.
That's right. And he was, as I said, talking about the differences between being a player and a manager. Well, that's one of the perks about being the manager, is that you can definitely bring back these key points. And that is a very key point, that position. I mean, it only happened twice. And you can't really say because of those 2 situations they lost the match, because it was a unified performance from Clang. But yeah, I think anybody, even just the average man on the street, would go up and go, hey, you can't be standing there at the same spot. Not ever. Well, let's see what they do here. Took the first game 11-9. It's the second one 11-4.
So Woon is just not finding his touch at the front of the court.
Yeah.
And Kepong have really gone off the boil.
They just seem to be a little bit in 2 minds about some of the shots that they want to play. And that is giving just that tiny amount of advantage to the players. Just seem kind of deciding as to which shot I should play. And of course, the unforced error is now.
Yes, and
screaming up 13-9.
Unfortunately, Woon can't see his partner behind.
Yeah.
Scolding him. It's maybe the 3rd or 4th net. He's lost a point.
Woon is definitely the weak link on that side. Now this is a chance for them to just settle themselves down, focus on what needs to be done. And the first order of the day, or the order of the game, is to tie this up at 3-all. So looking for 2 clear points from Kepong. Was rescued well, to his credit, but sadly, yeah, he was also recovered well.
It was a good defense, and tempted Woon into a rash shot, which was just tumbling over the net and ripe for the kill.
Again, caught out, found wanting.
And yes, and Nelson is finding that attacking Woon is actually paying some dividends.
Yeah.
He managed to trick him with a second drop shot there.
And I suppose the thing I just noticed really was that Lim Yin Lu's expression after Woon's last mistake was not the most encouraging. I don't think she's too happy with the performance level.
That's where Woon has been strongest, is the all-out attack, very powerful smash, precise and stinging, but unfortunately his net play has let him down, and that's where
a lot of points
Lim is, well, a lot of points are won and lost, but Lim has been more reliable in this match.
Yeah.
And Nelson and Lee are ahead by 4 points in the match. Some consistent serving.
They've pulled it together, they've tightened it up.
It's a string.
And there was, again, there was that expression from his playing partner, which is a thing that it's a very interesting way to. I wonder if Lim Yin Lu.
It's a peculiar kind of pleasure in doubles when you're not playing well, because you know you're letting yourself down, but also your partner.
Somebody else down.
And it's difficult to
pull that up.
Yes.
This one also, if it gets to 8 or 9-2, you'd think even this would be probably hard to rescue. If they can keep it here at 7. Right, now that was a point, as I said, that was constructed by Lim Yin Lu. It was executed by her.
Yes.
And it led to the unforced error. Now,
very nice setting play.
That should be the way they go from now on. And of course, you can't have that all the way. And again, there it is.
Again, yeah, Nelson is finding that Woon's confidence is down, and shots directed to him are not coming back.
Easy target at the moment.
Just confused by the slower shot.
Yep.
Expecting the hard smash, and there was more drifting. Well, yep, Kim Hop not looking happy, but he should be. This is a better performance from his players. A lovely serve.
Yep, at 6-7 down as well. It's going to be helping their cause.
A lovely cross-court serve from Nelson. Lee was in the right place, just couldn't kill it from the return.
So another game point for the Klang United pair. Deserved, I think.
Absolutely, they've really moved their opponents around in a way that has stopped the opportunities for Woon to use his strong point, which is his smash, and has led to some positional confusion from the Kepong players.
That was the first time we saw a little bit of miscommunication from Clang. Apart from that, they've been. Oh, it's a beautiful disguised drop. And the fans really getting behind their pair now. Well, I thought that was only ever going to go one way, really. The way that point was played, you could tell.
Well, yep, Kim Hop and Jackie leaping out of their chair.
Immediately, as you could expect.
Because their players are ahead, and fully deservedly, in this match.
So after an initial game 11-9, which they won. The Kepong players now lost 2. And as I said, at 2-1 to Clang. And it is now 8 apiece. And neither of these teams are going to be moving up the table if it stays like this. But don't forget, 2 matches to come up after this. One of them, Derek Wong versus Chong Wei Feng. The classic Malaysia-Singapore trade-off. That could decide things. But I'm sure that Kepong especially would have been expecting, by playing their big guns, T Jing-yi and Tan Boon Hyung, in this match, they would have expected to have a little bit more of a differential now. Tan Boon Hyung is actually on court, giving some advice to Woon. Obviously, he's seen the flaws as well. So he's not just a player; he's also a doubles coach as well.
Yes, with that experience, you would expect he'd give some tips.
So let's see if those tips pay off now, because as of now, that hard-earned +2 games difference has been whittled down to 0. And let's see if they can take this to 5 and get that +2 back. It's got to be tough, though, for Woon Won Lim. That's much better from him. Much better from him.
Yes, already he's
Yeah.
more lively.
So essentially, you just talk to Tan Boon Hyung for like 5 seconds, you become a better doubles player. Is that right? I think that might be it.
I think there's some psychology. You want to impress your playing hero.
That's exactly it.
Playing in the same team, and he's saying you're not doing it. And wow,
Yeah.
that's a hero that's telling you to improve. So
And he's sitting 10 foot away from you.
and there we are. That's
much better.
much more lively from Woon. Better movement, more confident attacking.
Yeah.
What we saw in the last game was that the Klang players figured out not to give him the opportunities
Yeah.
to attack like that. So I wonder if they can somehow shut him down, make his life awkward again.
And again, another lesson to be learned from this tie, that you can change your game around. It's a question of positioning. It's a question of focus, determination, and of course playing on equal par with your partner. And so far, since that chat with Tan Boon Hyung, they have literally transformed themselves into a much better pair. Oh, so lucky.
It's a close game.
Yeah.
I really like
Yes.
Lim in defense, and I like Lim at the front of the net. She's
She's
technically
saving up.
excellent,
Yeah, she's definitely
a very reliable partner to have.
it's always good to have in mixed doubles. As I said, I've been praising the likes of a couple of them. Chen Zhao, one of the imports, to have that stable, versatile player that can always fix the problems. It's very useful indeed.
Yes, it's Lim on the Kepong side at the moment, and Nelson on the Klang side.
Now again, both of them caught going the same way. Much better from Woon. Well, we've got a real game on our hands now.
Bad luck. Maybe Lee just had the racket a little bit down. Yes, it was down and she had to lift it. And that's what led to the error.
So 2-4, and a chance now for Klang United to reset themselves. What a disguise drop that was. Just
Credit to Lee.
ghosted in.
Woon has been vulnerable at the front there, especially on the when he's been on the defence. You can catch him out.
But it is nice to see. It's nice to see that Lim Yin Lu is smiling again, and I think she's seen the extra effort that's been put in by her partner. Perhaps that would have just upset her a little bit more, as that could have been a little bit more clear cut. He had a lot of time to take that.
He really tried to go for it. You saw him winding up, and these type of errors can be forgiven if you're ahead in the match, but
you're not. That's
at the moment they're not.
An easier defensive line for Kepong to hold. Now Woon's leaving space again on the right.
Well
actually see him doing it. But yeah, fantastic performance from Lim Yin Lu. But you could actually see there that Woon Lim just got rooted in the middle of the court.
She took on the attacking duties and got the point for her team. Keeps them in the lead.
Yap Kim Hock is actually so agitated that he's been told by Stephen Ong to sit down.
You can understand his passion as a doubles expert. He probably wants to be on the court.
That's the thing. I mean, once you get that good, the game becomes your life. And he hasn't picked up a racket for a while, but it's amazing to see the passion. Now this 6-4, it's been Lim Yin Lu that has crafted this 2-point lead. Let's see what they can do with it.
Oh.
That's all getting a bit confusing again.
Keep the attack.
And you just saw the reaction. You saw the reaction from
She's trying to help out.
She can't believe it. She cannot believe it.
But actually, Clang did exceptionally well in that rally because they had the attack.
Oh,
and
look
it looked
at
like
that.
losing it, and it was a very clever cross-court net shot from Lee, which kept them on the attack. Eventually, targeting Woon, who's been inconsistent in defense, gets the reward.
It is.
But on attack,
yeah, look at that. That was
almost faultless. What a shot!
7-5.
And I think it's the exact shot he needed at that time as well.
Yes. That's been his strength tonight. He can really fire those shuttles and get them with precision and power. And why is he been so weak on defense, I wonder?
Yeah. Yes, he's definitely taken out himself now.
7.
I'm not going to tell you the unforced errors count. Obviously, we know who's ahead. It's actually only just, it's 19-15. But 4 more points.
They're
Given
still ahead in this game, so
yep. They have managed to keep this 2-point lead. Greatly help them if they could make it 2 points again here, but there you go.
7-all.
I think that was a word of encouragement from Yap Kim Hock there, stretching Nelson to get the point.
They're still managing to do it. And that's quite incredible when you look at some of the defensive, lack of defensive shots that Kepong have put up. But it's not a comfortable lead at all. well done by Lim Lu. That's
a little exchange between the two players.
And what a time. This one they have drawn level at 8 apiece. There is Yap Kyo Hong, firmly seated. These points are crucial, especially for Klang United. They are on the brink, they could be on the brink of closing out this match. Now it's time for the unforced errors to go the other way. So they get a game point, and this really has been a gift for them, because if they can convert this and get into a 5th game, then they really have got out of jail free. I can tell you now, off screen, Tan Boon Hyung's waiting for the outcome of this point.
This game is not over yet.
It's not over yet at all.
And Woon and Lim are under pressure to close out this game.
Now it's pretty obvious that everyone's going to be targeting this man, Woon Lim. So it's a question of how do you protect him.
There's a little mind games going on there with the service.
Well, they went the other way. And Lim Lu shows...
Oh! She just couldn't.
Yeah, she couldn't do all of them. She couldn't do all of them in the end.
And we have a double match point.
Well, we have a match point and a game point. We have a match point for Clang.
Match point and a game point, yes. Yeah. I was about to say Lim. Lim, what a hero in defence.
But
I think there was 5 that came back. It was on the 6th. She just couldn't make it. She was under tremendous pressure.
The classic example for her partner. Her partner, if you watch that, that's how you're supposed to defend. 5, 6 in a row, and then possibly give it away at the end. But you know, there have been a couple of instances where it's just been the first shot which Woon hasn't been able to return. Still, there is a chance here, just a chance. Klang coming out with all the pressure, moving forward.
Oh dear.
The ultimate mistake that's ended the match. A good win for Klang, yeah. A great win for Klang, but I think it sums it up that the final point, the match point, was won with a clash of rackets as opposed to anything else. But it was good pressure.
Just the over enthusiasm at the end.
Yeah.
But for me, the man of this game was Nelson, who kept very steady.
And let's hear from him right now. They are on court with JD, and I'm sure they have a story to tell.
All right, we're down here on the court with the winners of this amazing mixed doubles match. Your record, still 100%. Are you happy with your performance today?
Yeah, I'm feeling great with my performance today.
But at one point, especially the last set, it looked like it was very, very tense already. How did you get through that? Because it looked like they were coming back, then you won it. What happened midway through?
We only thinking the attack position. Yeah, we keep attacking, less defending.
So now that you have this partnership, is Nelson going to be your permanent mixed doubles partner now?
This one, I'm not sure with you.
Congratulations anyway, an amazing win for Klang United. Back to you in the Ivor Court commentary box.
So a good win for Klang United, and I said that really has put the games differential, which is the important part of it, back in favor of Klang. That 3-1 means it is now 9-8, so Klang will be walking away with the table advancement if it stays like this, with a +1. And Kepong, for all the stars that they have put on court today, are currently -1. So it will be moving down. But as you pointed out, Donald, Derek Wong versus Chong Wei Feng is now becoming a very, very key match indeed.
Yes, and Samuel knew that, and which is why he needed those 3 points from his star players. But this was a really fascinating contest. All credit to the Klang players for keeping steady and I suppose surviving the attacking flair of Woon and keeping them at bay in the second and third games and holding on to win the match.
But again, this really does highlight the if you could see those connections between the players, that spacing has to be right throughout all of it. Look at the stats down here. Woon and Lim, of course, coming out with the higher unforced errors. They tried to smash their way back into the game, but if you have no defensive line, then it doesn't matter how many.
Well, they were shut down. Nelson and Lee decided that they wouldn't give as many opportunities for attack, which they did very well. And then they closed down a lot of the movement and caused some errors on the part of their Kepong players. So full credit to Klang for a well-deserved victory in the end.
And this is our next matchup now. Tan Jinyi and Yap Chi Rong for Klang United taking on Lo Juan Sheng and Suka Seong for Kepong. The responsibility now falls to these two to try and win back one of these matches and make sure that they walk away from this match day, the 5th for both of these clubs, with a net gain. And on that note, of course, probably a good point to congratulate Puchong United, who have started their second phase. Of course, they came out yesterday against Hampang Jaya. They won that one. And they have been the club that has come out and just kept winning. And that's why they are up near the top of the table. It's been a good response from the other clubs in the league. Got the managers on court. Let's hear what Yap Kim Kok has to say.
All right, we're down here once again with the coaches. First, let's hear from Klang United boss Yap Kim Hok. New pairing for the second half of season 2. We've never seen them play before. Tell us more about your pairing.
Yeah, this pair is a very new pair for us. Yeah, I think we just need one set. It's enough for us. Right, yeah.
And you mentioned it's going to be a very exciting match. We hope to see it. Thank you, Coach Yap. Now over to Sam from Kepong. Let's hear about your pairing. What are their strengths?
Again, I think what I was thinking of going into this match was, of course, considering we did play Klang in the Rookie Cup, and Lo Juansheng was one of those who gave a straight victory for us, a straight 3-0 victory for us. No, sorry, it was a victory for us. So I'm quite confident putting him against Klang. And also, Ka Seong has been performing well in the one match previously, so thought of giving him a chance. This is again a pairing which is not an actual pairing. I've kind of paired them together. It's kind of a gamble again. I hope it works.
All right, so we'll see whether the gamble works out. Right now, let's just get to the match. Back to you in the commentary box.
Interesting to note there, Donald, that Yap Kim Hok has lost his voice, probably from the amount of excitement that he had there. I just about made out what he said, but it is an important match for both, and really, as we said, that it looks like it could be quite evenly matched.
Yes, these players not so familiar to the Kopiko Purple League, and as Samuel Nason saying, an unusual partnership, but unless you try sometimes these things, then you never know if they're going to work.
So this is match 5 of the 6 in the tie for today. Just 2 ties on this weekend to kick off the second phase. Usually there are 3. Our players being introduced, umpire and service judge.
First blood to Kepong. Oh.
Well, based on this opening exchange, we might have a very interesting match.
It's the third fresh air shot I counted in Purple League today. There must be something in the air.
There is, but it isn't a shuttle. I think it's we've been watching so many tactical games. All of a sudden, we have kind of like a normal start to a game, and it looks odd. That was some good position. So far, the Kepong side doing exactly what they're supposed to do. That's 5-1. So really stalled on the grid for the Klang United pair. They have to get their game on soon. They can't rely on unforced errors like that for the whole match.
It's a good serve. A little bit unlucky on the return. And this must be one of the fastest starts to the matches we've seen so far. Both players probably not familiar with each other's games, so
it's called the one-point rally system. That's what it is. It's just 1 point, one-stroke rally. Being played at a very reserved pace as well. But
it's the first real attacking opportunity for Tan and Yap. Not able to capitalize on that occasion. Back to Low for serve. I sense that Tan and Yap have some power which they can bring if they're given the chance.
And it looks like a match that could evolve into something which would be beneficial, especially for the clubs, but also for the fans. Both pairs set up nicely. They don't seem phased by their opponents in either way.
What is Sui going to do on his serve?
With the advantage clearly with Kepong at the moment. That was a nice reflex block. Wins back to serve for them, an important time. That's just cleanly taken. Yes, you're right, Donald. It's just, I think it's one of the quickest games we've seen. 9-5 already.
Quick hands from Low, just directing to the bait, to the sideline.
And right down the middle. Having no problems in finding winners at the moment. Now, if Chong Wei Feng can deliver after this, should, of course, Kepong win this match, then it will be a good day at the office, as you said. A long day, but a good day.
That's the first game.
Done, 11-6.
And again, I'm sure that Yap Kim Hop will be saying to his players, you have to slow this game down.
Yeah.
And just impose yourself, take a little bit longer on the serve, think about your shots, think about how you will construct the point, and get back into it. You're 1 game down.
But it's not the end of the world yet. And he is there. You see, clearly giving instructions to his players to how they should set up for this one.
Yes. Gun Hyung as well.
Yep.
In the coach's chair, bringing all that experience to a new partnership, as Samuel Nason says.
And still looking just as relaxed as he was when he was on court. Nothing seems to faze that man. But of course, with these legends, especially being a former world #1 as well, you know, you've been there, you've done that literally. So there's a vast body of knowledge that you can pull from. And it really is about the details of the game, and that's what was just discussed with both pairs. And that's what you can see live here on Astro Supersport, Astro Arena, and Astro on the Go. Exclusive Kopiko Purple League action.
Tan just trying to jab and push, but he's got to get over the net. Just too high on the jabbing, opening up the game, allowing the counter-attack. You sense that the Klang players are just almost over-eager to get to the shuttle, and they ended up snatching it. If they were more considered, taking a little bit longer on their shots.
That might have been what Hawk was talking about.
That's another example. Tan just swiping at it, and not finding the mark.
So the tie currently at 9-8. No, in fact 9-9. That's right, because including that game has just been won by Rowan Su. So as I said, as I'm always interested in this game's differential, it's at 0.
Well, nothing going right for Tan and Yap at the moment. They've lost their confidence.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they've made mistakes.
This is the first Golden Duck game that we've seen so far. 8 love. Are we going to see an 11 love? They just seem to be in control.
Yeah, Su and Lo finding it very easy at the moment. They just have to keep consistent.
Yep.
And their opponents are not really
I
firing any shots with any penetration or conviction or precision at the moment.
Yeah, there's no spark, I suppose you could say. But I think, if I'm right, this could be the first 11 love that we've seen at the Kopiko Purple League. No, it isn't. It's a 1-9. Just commentator's curse. There you go. There've been very few 11-1s, and we're on the brink of that.
Well, unfortunately, Tan and Yap have had a very bad game.
Torrid time, absolutely torrid time.
They seem very eager at the start to try to impress and try to play a game, but unfortunately it looks as if that eagerness is just sort of boiled over into mistakes, and then when the mistakes start happening, the confidence goes down, and they're looking very low on confidence at the moment, must be said.
And I think, as you said, Samuel Nason is a detailed tactician. We've both had the opportunity to sit and talk to him. And I'm looking at these scores here from the first 5 matches. And I'm not kidding, it could have been 15-0 at this point. But for a few lapses of concentration, an injury, of course, you can never talk about the performance of your opponent, but that's been brilliant as well. But instead of that, what could have been and we're looking at game 2 and some of the unforced errors. These are the points that were lost. As you can see, it's all in the forecourt, right in front of the net. So I'll tighten those up a little bit. But it really could have been a big haul of games for Kepong if everything had gone their way in this tie, and that would have really put them up the table. But let's just see anyway. Right now, the tie's just swung back in their favor. It's now 10-9. And if Chong Wei Feng can deliver a 3-0, then possibly they got 4 out of it. But I honestly think they could have walked away with 7 or 8 extra games easily from this tie, had those tiny details just gone their way. There's a point lost.
So can Tan Jun Yi and Yap Chi Rong put the first 2 games behind them
and start delivering?
Come back into this.
So far, so good. But I have to say, 2 points isn't enough. He needs a nice confidence-boosting 7-1, 8-1. Wow.
Seems better, some points on the board.
Yeah, they are fighting for it, every single point. It's good to see. I did say this game could evolve into something else simply because of that spirit that all 4 of them seem to be on the same page in terms of wanting to win. You could say that in the previous match, Mun Chun's mind was possibly somewhere else. And that, of course, led to a 3-1 loss.
Just a kind of casual defense, unfortunately, from Yap. Couldn't get the racket on it.
So they pulled it level, 4-all. And